this coming week in Destiny, Grandmasters are going to be upon us a lot earlier than normal because we did not have an increase to our power level. So June 13th, this Tuesday at reset, Grandmasters will be live. Now, it won't be the rotating node or the Conqueror node where you can go through and pick the Grandmaster you want to do. They're going to be on a regular rotation, I believe, starting with Lightblade. So that's going to be fun. This video is going to be designed on giving you good build ideas centered around just running Aeons. Now, like I'm going to say right now, you don't have to run Aeons for any of these builds, but they synergize very nicely with what I have planned. So like, comment, and subscribe if you want to keep seeing the content. Giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. We're so close. So hit that subscribe button and help me out a ton. Quick word from our sponsors, and let's get into this video. Now, the exotic that is going to be the main focus of these builds is going to be our Aeon Gauntlets, which are very unique because they are found on all three classes, and they don't have one particular exotic trait that can be found amongst them. They have three you can swap between. The one that we're going to be looking at mostly today is going to be Sect of Insight, which the important part of this particular exotic is going to be when we finish a boss or a mini boss, we will generate a brick of heavy for our allies. Champions count as mini bosses, so anytime you finish a champion in a Grandmaster or other setting, you will make your allies a brick of heavy. Now, because finishing gives us that brick of heavy, that led me to play into the mod Squad Goals, which when we get a finisher, when we have Woven Mail, Devour, Amplified with the respective subclass, we give that buff to nearby allies. So with Aeons, when we get a finisher, we can make a brick of heavy and then give whatever buff that we have at the time to our allies, which is great for team play. Now, if everyone on your team wants to run Aeons, just pick different sects so you can get the specific bonuses from them. They're all really good, but Sect of Insight just surpasses them because of heavy generation. With all of that being said though, we're going to look at class setups for our certain subclasses. I'll be giving option for changing fragments when necessary, as well as going over a basic artifact setup, and at the end, we're going to go over one or two different options that you might want to use over Aeons for a particular subclass. So, starting with our Strand subclass, we're going to start with fragments, which are going to be Thread of Fury, Thread of Generation, Thread of Transmutation, and Thread of Warding. As with this combo, I found we can have Woven Mail up pretty much all of the time, so we can have that 40% damage reduction and then give that to our teammates when we get a finisher alongside a heavy brick. As for aspects on our Titan, I recommend Into the Fray and Flechette Storm. Into the Fray for the abilities so that when we destroy tangles, we can give Woven Mail to ourselves and allies that way as well. Flechette Storm, as it does some very good damage and high-end content, and it is extremely fun to use. For hunters, we're going to take Widow Silk for the extra grenade, which is helpful, and Ensnaring Slam so we have the extra so we can suspend targets, because suspension is extremely good. In that same vein, for our warlocks, we're going to take the Wanderer and Mindspun Invocation for, again, additional ways to suspend targets, just have really good crowd control in that endgame content. As for our artifact setup, for Strand, we really only need to take Improved Unraveling so we do more damage to unraveled targets, and Strand Soldier so when we get Woven Mail on our Strand subclass, our Strand weapons will grant unraveling rounds. Also, we're going to take Squad Goals. Obviously, that is the whole point of this build and these videos, is to include Squad Goals. Aside from what I just mentioned, you can take whatever else you want on your artifact. I highly recommend the mod where when you stun a champion, you get a stack of armor charge, as we're going to talk about another armor mod later on in this video that's going to be very helpful for, again, more team play and team synergy. Moving on to our Void setup, we're going to run the Echo of Expulsion, Echo of Persistence, Echo of Reprisal, and Echo of Starvation. With these fragments, we can have our supers up quite often, as well as having a steady stream of Devour to hand out when we get a finisher. I will also say the fragment where you go invisible when you get a finisher is also extremely helpful for our Void subclass on this particular build setup with Aeons if you want to run that instead. As for our aspect, on my Hunter, I ran Vanishing Step and Stylish Executioner when testing these, as it'll help us stay alive for our team, so we can get those finishers easily by going invisible. But honestly, all of the Hunter aspects here are extremely good for this setup, especially good with team play. For our Warlock, we have Chaos Accelerant for those amazing grenades, and Feed the Void for an easy way to get Devour for our finishers and for our teammates. And for our Titans, we have Bastion for the very good overshield and Controlled Demo for the volatile and heal healing that we're going to get from it. For our artifact, we're going to take Onto the Breach. So Void debuff targets make a Void Breach. Protective Breach. So when we pick up a Void Breach, we get a Void Overshield, or it extends our current Overshield. And Supernova. So when we pick up a Void Breach, the next source of our Void damage is going to make a Weakening Explosion. And of course, we finally have Squad Goals. Again, I also recommend taking the Artifact mod when stunning a champion. You get a stack of Armor Charge. Again, we're going to go over that towards the end of the video. And finally, for our arc setups, we're going to run the fragment Spark of Amplitude, Spark of Shock, Spark of Resistance, and Spark of Volts. With these fragments, I found that we can stay alive and get really good damage reduction, as well as having very easy amplification to give to our allies. As for aspects on our Warlock, we're going to take Electrostatic Mine for easy amplification for picking up Ionic Traces, and Arc Flows to help make those Ionic Traces. For Titans, we have Touch of Thunders for amazing grenades and Knockout for amplification and health regen on those melee defeats. For Hunters, we have Flow State for amplification and Lethal Current to be able to deal with groups of adds with the arc explosion we're going to make. For our artifacts, we're going to want to take Electric Armor, so we stayed amplified longer, giving us more opportunities to get finishers and giving out that amplification. Thunderous Retort for the bonus super damage, amped up for the extra resistance. Shock and Awe, so we can cause jolting explosions with arc defeats while amplified. You can take Lightning Strikes twice if you prefer a more grenade-based build. And of course, finally, Squad Goals. Once again, I also recommend taking the Artifact mod where when you stun a champion, you get a stack of Armor Charge. And that's because another good mod for your armor to pair with this on our class items is going to be the one where finishing makes special ammo. Special ammo can be just as helpful as heavy ammo, and with this you can make both very good. Now if you don't want to run the Aeon Gauntlets, there are a handful of really good options you can use that I'm going to give for what I ran for testing. Titans, I ran Strand. Another really good option for Titans is Ambient Leap, as suspending a target is going to give you Woven Mail. On our Hunters, Gerfalcon is going to be absolutely king this season in Grandmaster content, and I'm going to make a build video on that coming in the next few weeks. And Warlocks, you can either run Fallen Sunstar or Crown of Tempest, as they are both extremely good and give your abilities back extremely fast and play very heavily into amplification. With all that being said though, that is the end of the video. I would like to apologize first off because normally my second video comes out on Thursdays, and I've been trying to do really good about that, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, this video had to get pushed back. For the past 2 or 3 days, the required content packs 1, 2, and 3 for Destiny have basically deleted themselves, and I had to re-download 72 gigabytes worth of data to even start the game again. I know I'm not the only person having this problem. I've seen it along the Bungie forums, so they know it's a thing. Will they do anything about it? I don't know, because I don't know if it's a them thing or a Sony thing with their licensing agreements and whatever else goes on. Either way, for now though, we're all good. We're all set. I should be able to have content flowing out normally as I would. The other thing I want to go over is, do you guys want to see me do Grandmaster guides at the start of Grandmaster season, starting with Lightblade, or would you rather me wait until the rotation starts again in week 7? So for the Conqueror node, we start with that instead, start from the beginning, work our way through those 6 weeks, or would you rather me start with Lightblade this week for farming and getting whatever else you want out of that particular strike? Let me know down in the comments. I'm also going to post a poll about it later this week, probably literally the same day this video goes out on Saturday. So let me know what you think down below, or go respond to that poll that should be up by the time this video is out. So like, comment, and subscribe. Again, we're so close to that 1,000 goal, doing a giveaway at 1,000. I've said this many times, so like, comment, and subscribe. Check out those links down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.